sorry, in a Long Island accent with the
Wait a
flattest
second. Will you guys just? Can we back up?
Yes,
Will you guys
yes,
just
yes.
do this scene?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say I'm
All right.
working behind the desk. I've been watching John Travolta's dog at a pet
And
hotel.
action.
Hey, Bucci, where's my Bucci?
We tried to call.
Does he say like, what happened?
We tried to call. That's it!
The dog
is dead.
The dog is dead. Oh my God.
Guys. Old dogs die.
Old dogs indeed. All right, well.
And that's where the bereavement group comes back, because they all show up
At a dog
at old
bereavement
dog's
group.
funeral.
But that is, I mean, like, but we still haven't touched the entirety of Boy Scout camp.
Oh my God.
Matt Dillon's performance.
Matt Dillon!
Bring him up.
Oh, we didn't talk about Matt Dillon.
Justin Long.
All of Amy Sedaris, all of the fucking crazy bonkers zoo.
The zoo.
The zoo.
Let's talk about the zoo for a
This
second.
zoo is so long. How is this movie only 87 minutes
The zoo
and
is
have there be
27
so
minutes.
much craziness?
So much has gone into it. So Robin Williams is trying to win back his kids. Don't worry about why if you haven't seen the movie, you know that. And he's going to the zoo to save his kids, but the zoo is closed but open. It's closed to new visitors but open to
The
existing
visitors that are there.
But certain parts of the zoo are closed off to people who are even in the zoo.
Yep.
And it's the middle of the day on a Saturday
Yes.
for a birthday party. So what does Robin Williams do? He hijacks a jetpack guy to
Because
fly him.
every zoo has a dude hanging out with a jetpack.
Oh, he was hired.
Oh, right. You're right.
Easy, Jason.
So sorry,
Easy.
guys. So sorry. I'm sorry. They did justify that perfectly.
This is after Seth Green gets raped by a gorilla who... They get raped by a gorilla and attacked by penguins. I want to throw something at you guys. We're going to go a little bit long for this because there's no way. I want to throw this at you and just as a discussion point. According to IMDb, this film was originally R-rated and was to be released by Touchstone Pictures. However, due to poor test screenings, the film was cut down from 107 minutes to 86 minutes to achieve a PG rating.
I want to see that cut.
And it was then distributed to the Walt Disney label in hopes of appealing to a more kid-friendly audience.
How
So
could
now-
this ever have been rated R?
I don't understand how that's an R-rated movie, though.
For crassness, it is an R in a way, if that's on the
I mean, it's
scale
a
of-
G. It's like a G. I mean,
There's
Oh,
no-
that's like a subpar G.
There's no cursing. Nobody sleeps with it, and there's no sex.
Not one kiss.
The most sexual
No
scene
nudity.
is the scene where Robin Williams watches the kid take a dump.
And when
That is
John
the
Travolta
most-
eats the
how
pie.
could that have been? I want to.
Travolta fucking performs aggressive cunnilingus on that
Actually, it
pie.
should have been rated R for that scene.
If anyone saw a test screening of the R-rated version, please email us.
Or can get us a cut of it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Somebody work at Disney.
Possible.
I don't know if that's possible or not.
No, I can't believe it's possible that it was at one point rated R.
You know,
Or
this-
107 minutes. Yeah.
just to it's crazy. I mean,
20 more minutes. Just think of the other places that
Set
could have
pieces,
gone.
yeah.
it would have been amazing. Let's see. With every movie, I think we learn a lot about ourselves and our lives. And June compiles these thoughts into something that we call
Life lessons. So you already touched on the first major takeaway for the movie, and it's an important one. Life lesson number 1, get a fax machine. Because they need to run on time or else businesses cannot run. That's just
fax machines are important.
Yeah, fax machines are really important. Okay, number 2, Japanese people are only pretending they don't understand English.
So when in the deal with a Japanese person,
Yes, just know that this is like an elaborate thing they do.
Don't bother hiring a translator because it's wasted. Even if the guy's pretending like he doesn't understand.
Unless you want to have a hot date and a grief counseling
So they
session.
can understand. And number 3, and this is the most important one, this really came through. Kids are a lot of work. A lot of work. That's it.
That's it. Kids are a lot of work.
Kids are a lot of work.
All right. Well, they are. They are a lot of work. Anyone else learn any life lessons in there? Anyone else?
I am. This movie.
I'm exhausted.
I tried to watch it again last night and became enraged.
You know what I think is one other lesson, though, and this is about Rita Wilson's character. I think what might happen when she walks into a room for a casting for her hand auditions is that she's so startling to look at in her face that her hands, in comparison, look really good. I don't know that she has beautiful hands.
Just making the weirdest it's the choice to be cross-eyed is
weird.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. It's bizarre, but you know what? It works. It works. It actually is one of the most subtle performances in the movie.
It is.
For someone playing
the most subtle.
Yeah.
Amy Sedaris is the most subtle in the movie.
Oh my God,
that gives
Amy
you a
Sedaris.
scale.
Oh, the adults
I love
only
her.
can. Yeah, she's
She-
amazing.
Amazing.
Oh, amazing.
Well, we did something. Now it's time to hear from you, the listeners. It's time for some viewer mail.
You've got mail.
All right, so this week we gave you a different assignment. The tagline.
Sorry, it seemed like it was going a little slow, so I added a fart.
I think that's where it works. We should be.
They'll be
pumping up
adding
music.
a lot more later.
The tagline for Old Dogs is sit, stay, play dad. And last week I asked you guys to email us at howdidthisgetmade@earwolf.com and tell us what you think a better tagline for the movie would be. We got over like 150 responses. They were all amazing. I'm going to read you a few of the favorite ones. This is from Benny Oler. If Benny Hill mixed cocaine with despair and sold it to Telemundo, you might get something like this movie. Old Dogs. Colin
I
Bear.
only wish Old Dogs had yakety sax.
Colin Bear writes, Old Dogs. At least Nick Cage isn't in it. Eric Carfagna writes, Old Dogs. Slightly more fun than watching actual dogs get put down. John Stenning. 2 old friends, 2 new kids, hundreds of stale jokes. Old Dogs.
That's good.
James Gray. Old Dogs. Funny as a fart, only longer. Seth Holland writes, Old Dogs. Your brain will play dead. Robert Townsend. Not the Robert Townsend. Maybe it is.
Wow,
Yeah,
Robert
Robert
Townsend. Wow. What did
From
he
Hollywood
say?
Shuffle or Chinatown? You pick. Old Dogs. At least it's not a snuff film. This one I like. It's a thinker. Neapolitan, or I'm not pronouncing it wrong, writes, in Dog Stars, it's a 7. Which would mean it's a 1.
That's pretty good.
I like that one. And then our fan from Japan, Jason Gans, writes, Old Dogs. God help us all.
Simply put.
Oh, man. So that is, like we said, it
We did
barely
scratch the surface.
touches the
Yeah.
surface. Matt Dillon performance, which we'll have a clip of coming up, is amazing. The
Yeah,
whole
why
camp.
do they go? It seems like they go down south to that sleepaway
They
camp.
drive all the way to camp, set up tents,
Yes.
and then
Why is
go
everybody
home.
southern?
They
Yeah.
go home. They do not stay the night.
No.
So they set up tents.
This movie will be watched for generations and generations. This wraps up episode 3. Thanks to our special guest Casey Wilson. Her new show Happy Endings premieres this April 13th.
Yeah.
April 13th. Go watch it. It's awesome.
Thanks for having me.
And no, thanks for doing it. And then we'll be back soon. In the meantime, you can visit our Facebook page. Just search How Did This Get Made, or leave comments for us there or on our Earwolf page at earwolf.com. And as always, thank you for all your emails. I know we haven't been responding to them, but I'm a slow typer, but I'm reading them. And in the meantime, you can follow all of us, or some of us, on Twitter. I'm Paul Scheer, SCHEER.
Miss June Diane.
Jason, you're not on it.
I'm not on Twitter.
Casey?
I'm registered, but I've not yet to tweet.
All right, well, there you go. See you guys in episode 3.5, and let's go out with this final clip from Old Dogs.
Ultimate Frisbee, that's our game. Hey, let's do this for our kids, huh? Come on, man. Yeah, for the kids, yeah. All right, let's do this. Sports marketing, yeah, sports marketing. Sports marketing.
Now they just rubbed stuff
That's
on their
Bear
face.
Scat, gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Dad,
Yeah.
I think scat is poop.
Really, son?
Yeah.
Do I poop on my face? Yeah. Scat happens, man.
Boom! Nailed it. That happens.
USA!
Oh boy, USA. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
This has been an Earwolf Media production. Executive producers Jeff Ulrich and Scott Ackerman. For more information, visit earwolf.com.
Earwolfradio.com.
The wolf's dead.
The following episode of How Did This Get Made is sponsored by LegalZoom. They're helping keep the show free. If you go to LegalZoom.com and enter the code EARWOLF, you'll get a discount, and 100% of what you spend there comes directly back to the show. LegalZoom is the best place to help with your legal needs. They're not a law firm, but they provide self-help services at your direction. For more information on how to support this show and the rest of the Earwolf Podcast Network, go to earwolf.com/insider.
Now it's time for How Did This Get Made? We're gonna have a good time, celebrate some failure, not just be a hater. Cause you know you wonder, how did this get made? Let's throw in the mediocrity of subpar art. Perhaps you'll find the answer to the question, how did this get made?
Hello, people of Earth. Welcome to the 4th episode of How Did This Get Made, the podcast where we try to make sense of the movies that make no sense. I'm Paul Scheer. You might know me as Andre from the TV show The League, or as the dad from My Two Dads. I am joined, as always, by Jason Mantzoukas, who you might also recognize from The League. He plays Rafi. What's going on, Jason?
How are you, Paul?
Very good. And, of course, June Diane Raphael, who you've seen on Party Down.
Hi, Paul.
How are you?
Pretty good.
So formal. But from now, if you've listened to the show, you know that we love crappy movies. You know, and, man, I never thought there could be a movie that could be this crappy. This movie is a bummer.
It really is. Like, I don't want people to even, like, watch it.
No,
yeah,
you
I
don't
would
need
say
to.
don't watch it. If you haven't watched it yet, do not watch it.
It won't be made better.
Yes. No.
It's joylessly terrible.
You may think that we're playing up the fact that we don't understand this movie. I can already assume that nobody does. But I'll give you a little background on it. Today's movie, like I said, is a bummer. Universally hailed as the single worst films of last year, racking up a record amount of Razzies for worst film, worst director, worst screenplay, worst actor, worst supporting actress, worst use of 3D, and worst remake. Currently at 6% on Rotten Tomatoes, which for those of you keeping track is 1% lower than Old Dogs and 3% higher than Season of the Witch. Odd. And now the runtime.
Season of the Witch, much better than this movie.
Yes, much better.
A masterpiece. Maybe if only because it had a beginning, middle, and end.
And Ron Perlman.
I will say this: the runtime of the movie is an hour and 43 minutes, but it feels like a lifetime, like a sad lifetime, a lifetime in which you have been diagnosed with cancer from the minute you were born until the minute you die. There's
I kept hitting the button on my thing to be like, how much longer do I have? And I was like, I still have an hour and 30 minutes? I've only been, what the?
That's exactly right. And I mean, how to describe this movie? It's like everything bad about Star Wars, the prequels, but none of the good stuff. And you combine that with like the acting style of iCarly, and then you mix that in with the sense of confusion that you get after blunt force trauma to the head. And that's kind of what you get when you watch Last Airbender. It is... now, I'm trying to explain this premise for the people who have not seen it. I've read on Wikipedia. I've tried to explain it myself. It's about a kid who was trapped in a giant snow globe with a floating dog, who is the last airbender in a world where there are 3 continents, one being earth, water, and fire, and they're all fighting with each other. If you're from all these continents, like if you have the power of earth, you can shoot rocks at people.
I can already hear like super nerds who are fans of the anime being like, that's wrong.
Exactly.
You're incorrect, Paul. You're already starting from a lie.
Well, that is true. I hear the animated show is amazing.
Yeah,
but
people do freak out over that show.
And
we
movie,
did not see it.
Yes. Well, I've never seen an animated show. I'm sure it's great, but this movie...
You've never seen an unanimated show at all?
Never.
None?
I refuse. I only like to support real people doing real work. So we're trying to get into the movie, but if things don't make sense to you, that's because it doesn't make sense to us. Here to join us talking about the movie, kind of figure it out with us, is a very special guest. Welcome, John Daly.
Hi, how's it going?
You might know John Daly from Twitter.